Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. How we doing, people? Today's video is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual, Part 10, the letters K and L. So I couldn't do this without my boy Eric.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up indeed, people? So as this is your first time to the channel, hello. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, I know I only have a few minutes to keep your attention, so A, don't leave yet. And V, know that this is an ongoing series. Hint, part 10. So if you're enjoying this video, go back to the other. We are doing an in-depth review, and Eric's doing a reading of most of the descriptions. Some of them are kind of like aren't that really important in the sense of they give you like rules that are no longer we're looking for proof, I guess.
Valid.
Valid. There, that's a better word. Valid. So he'll skip over stuff like that. But other than that, he's gonna be doing the readings, definitely reading off all the script, and then we're gonna be talking about the monsters. So sit back, enjoy, pause the video right now, go get something to drink, get some snacks, because you're along for a ride. All right.
All
So what is
right,
the
starting
first
off.
creatures?
Oh, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, what are the first creatures?
The first creatures are K, Chiran, and Cobalt.
All right. So before Eric reads the description here. Chirons are noble creatures native to the celestial planes, who either worked for good aligned deities in direct opposition to the forces of evil or served as protectors of large areas. They were regarded as harbingers of good fortune, and days when a Chiron was sighted were considered blessed. Now, I usually try to keep these fun facts within the time, but I couldn't pass this. So in 1987, Roger E. Moore published the editorial Tucker's Cobalt in the Dragon magazine, which is 127, describing a game scenario where a horde of well prepared Cobalt used guerrilla tactics to significantly challenge a far more powerful party of adventurers. This editorial became popular among role playing fans and has helped Cobalts gain traction. And here's a really fun fact that I didn't know until I was looking at fun Cobalt facts is Cobalts also featured as opponents in the very first playtest run by Gary Gygax for the
Nope.
original D&D rules in 1972.
Yeah,
That's
I remember
pretty
hearing
cool,
that.
man.
Remember hearing the playtest stuff, but that's Tucker Cobalt's. My DM back in the day ran something similar to that.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
DMs have done that.
Yep.
It was because of that article that um gave the idea to DMs like, look, you got Cobalts, you got these little hobgoblins that most players after second or third level are just going to run over.
Yep.
Why are you letting them run over these creatures that are, they're not stupid. I mean, they're average
And
to
numbers,
low.
man.
Yeah,
Numbers. I mean, to quote the infamous V.I. Lenin, quantity is a quality all its own.
yeah, there you go. All right, so let's learn about the Chiron.
All right, starting with the letter K, and I'm looking at the book here. We're almost exactly halfway through the monster manual.
Oh, 10 videos in.
Yeah, man, gonna be good. All
Yeah.
right, so we're starting off with the Chirin. Chirin are a race of aerial creatures whose hooves rarely touch the earth, for they dwell amongst the clouds and behind the winds. Females are never encountered, and Chirin are always solitary. They sometimes aid humans if properly abjured or the need to combat evil is great. They sometimes travel the astral and ethereal planes. The attack of a Chirin can take the form of two powerful hoof blows and a thrust with a magically sharp +3 horn, much resembling that of a unicorn. Chirin can also attack in other ways. They're able to use various spells of, wow, 18th level quality. So you're talking Archmage stuff.
Yeah.
9th level, 8th level, all the way on down. And they also command 4 of the major and 6 minor psionic disciplines, which we'll get into in another series.
Yep.
Operating at 9th level of mastery in all psionics. Chirin once per day can do each of the following: create nutritious foods for 2 to 24 persons, create drinkable beverages for two. So they're basically a catering service from the sky.
Yep, for the gods.
Create soft goods, wooden items, metal items, all kinds of stuff. They can do illusions. They can do gaseous form, wind walk, call lightning, summon weather. The Chiron conjures things of the sky or which involves air, the creature or magic it is as at twice normal strength. So if this thing's summoning wind air elementals, they're going to be twice their normal strength. That's gnarly, dude. Including hit points and damage inflicted. Chirons speak their own language, but their specific telepathic speaking ability, their special telepathic speaking ability, they are able to converse with virtually any living thing. The coat of a Chiron is luminous gold, much as sunrise on a clear day. Its mane and tail are darker gold. Its hooves and horns are golden pink, its eyes violet. The skin of this creature is worth 25,000 gold pieces if it is perfectly intact.
Good
How
luck.
evil do you got to be like, you know what? Not only am I going to kill that Chiron, but I'm going to skin it perfectly.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's gnarly, dude.
That's the Chiron's diet. He's like with his hoof going to his side. F you. And he
Right?
kicks it in to break it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, don't mess up that last leg. All right, moving on to one of my other favorite creatures, the Cobalt.
Wait,
I always
so
like these little guys.
wait, hold on. Before we go and move to the kobolds,
Okay.
so the Chiron are interesting. Like these are creatures that the DM really wants. It is very rare that you're gonna ever bump into a Chiron. It's like seeing
More rare than
Haley's.
unicorns.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna bump into unicorns more than you ever would a Chiron. A Chiron is like the
Yes.
equivalent of like Haley's comet. If you see that once in your lifetime, you're good. Um, I bumped into a player and his friends, and the DM was there, and they were telling me about what they're doing in the current campaign, and this one player was like, "Well, my paladin's riding a Chiron." And I was like, and I looked at him, I said, "What?" I said,
Are
"Who
you
the hell's
level
your
40?
DM?" Yeah, I go, "Who the hell is your DM?" And then the guy goes, "Well, I am." Well, he befriended it, and then something, and I was like, "You know what kind of creature this is?" I mean, like saying, "Oh yeah, my 18th level, my 18th level ranger rides Bahamut."
Yeah.
And they're like, "I think you're, they were like, I think you're being, you over exaggerated." I was like, "No, you're not supposed to treat it like that. They're not a
Yeah, they are
mount,
not mounts.
not a mount." I was like, "What the hell, dude?" I
The
go,
hell is wrong with people?
yeah, I was like, I felt like such an elitist now that when I'm rethinking about the
Yeah, you
story.
do it like
Like,
yeah,
like the game is whatever you want to be. We've always preached
exactly.
that. And here I am. What are you, stupid? Like,
Dude, I felt that same right when I said what is wrong with these people. I felt that same way that you said. I'm like, man, I'm a dick.
yeah, man. It's like you play with this
But
game whatever
seriously,
you want,
man.
man. I want to give a Chiron
Right?
to
But seriously,
befriend
what is
at
wrong with
first
people?
level. At first level, and they ride them.
Man.
you
You know
know?
that Chiron's like, I just want to kill myself.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
I'm a mount. I just want to die.
I just
To
want
fuck
to
up my
die.
skin.
I got this paladin riding me. I go, what? Has he got a saddle too? And then the group just got quiet. I was like, man, get the hell out of here. I was
No.
like, these guys can cast
Game.
wish.
Game.
And you're riding him. I
Oh,
was
that
just like,
poor Chiron.
man, I was just like, whatever, man. I
It's
just
funny.
looked at them.
We have a beer at work called Chiron, and every time I see that beer, I think of this picture right here.
Yeah, man, it's freaking cool. And like I had to like
Yeah.
ruin these people's game.
Now that guy's like, I want a different mount. Made him all
Yeah,
feel
like
bad.
he was all proud. The DM was all proud, like he let him have this and stuff. And like here I am, green, like you guys are stupid.
You guys are dumb. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did.
Yeah, I look at that now. At the time, I didn't. The time it's like I told them. you know,
You're like,
like
yeah,
yeah, like learn to be a dungeon master.
you stupid people. You
So,
snob. You role
I'd
play
like to
scene.
apologize to that group whose name is no longer
If
relevant.
you're out there listening right now,
If you remember Joaquin when you were in the 9th grade, I'm sorry.
30 years ago, you're like, oh, that dick.
That is so funny. Even if somebody just put it in the
If
comment,
somebody
you
leaves a
know?
comment in
Yeah,
there, dude,
that'd be funny, dude. All
it'd
right,
be
so
hilarious.
leave a like and put a comment down.
Yeah, a few of those poor people that Joaquin role play shamed, put a comment in there. Tell me he's a jerk.
All right, moving on to little jerks. See how nice little
Yeah.
segue there. The
Speaking of jerks,
Cobalt.
okay, now first off, I want this picture is one of my all-time favorites in the Monster Manual.
Really,
Like
this
this
one.
guy, he's super cool. And just off on a side note, I know we're supposed to keep it first edition Cobalt or Monster Manual and all that stuff. Kobolds were originally little dog-like creatures. They've kind of changed over the years to a more draconic
Yeah.
heritage. And I think you could see that right here with the scales. Even though they have that kind of dark dog face,
Yep.
they do have the horns and the scales that kind of give it a reptilian heritage.
Yeah, they were known as the Dogmen for
Yeah,
like some of
I
the
love
rules. So,
kobolds, dude. Love them.
yep.
Well, yeah. All right. So the society of these creatures is tribal with warbands based on gens. Gens, I'm assuming, is generations. I've never seen it abbreviated that way.
Yeah.
The stronger tribe rules the weaker ones. Kobolds are usually found in dank, dark places such as dismal, overgrown forests or subterranean settings. They hate bright sunlight, not being able to see well in it, but their night vision is excellent, and they have infrared vision, which operates up to 60 feet. If they are in bright sunlight, they have a lesser chance to fight well. They get the -1 die rolls to hit opponents, which is still a common thing today. They give a breakdown of how many kobolds, because this is another one of the number appearing 40 to 400 creatures. They give a breakdown of how many females, how many males, what kind of weapons. They usually use short swords and javelins, short swords and spears. Some use axes, typical, simple, and melee weapons, basically. Chief and guard types always have the best available weapons. Old cobalt shields are wood or wicker work. Interesting. You weave them shields. Kobolds hate most other life, delighting in killing and torture. They particularly hate such creatures as brownies, pixies, sprites, and gnomes. They work continually with the latter and will attack them on sight, which is funny because I say kobolds are my favorite. I do love the gnomes, man. So I do run a lot of gnomes, and if they ever see kobolds, they will kill a kobold. Shout out to
Kobolds will
Meepo
try
the
to.
Kobold in the Sunless Citadel.
Yep, or the Kobolds will try to kill the gnomes.
Yep,
Someone's
it's
dying.
going down. I had there was a module I played when Martin was DMing when I first got back into D&D in 5th edition, Sunless Citadel, I think it was,
Yep.
where you run across like a kobold. His name's Meepo. I was running a gnome. Nope. The first chance that party left me alone with that that kobold, I tried to kill him. They came back, they're like, what's going on? Like I stabbed the kobold in the back. I was like, no. Like, I'm killing this bitch. I tried to kill him so bad. He's like, oh, and then I killed him. I was like, good. Damn kobold. Run around my gnome party. All right, anyway, let's get back to it. In addition to the tongues of lawful evil and kobold, these monsters can usually speak goblin and orcish. The hide of kobolds runs from very dark rusty brown to a rusty black. Rusty black?
Yeah.
They have no hair. Their eyes are reddish and their small horns are tanned to white. They favor red or orange garb. And check, kobold live to 135 years.
Oh man,
Holy
they
shit!
live a while and they multiply a lot
I
too.
never realized that.
So, as you can see right here, so the Monster Manual
Oh, here we
occasionally
go.
would show some artwork, and of all the monsters that they pick,
Yeah.
I agree with most of them, except until when we get to the spiders. I was like, really, the one you're gonna put an art page on? I'm
Right?
like, but other than that, a cool picture. Like when I think of like kobolds amassing against a group, this is what I think of.
Yeah.
Like,
I
dang.
like you have there up in the upper left corner, you have those kobolds. It looks like a net. So you're like, oh, somebody threw a net, but then you look and it's the wizard
Yep.
and he's possibly casting web.
Yeah, trying to hold off that flank right there to give the
Yeah.
fighters a chance to kill what's in
And
front of them.
you look like in the shadows, like the background, the cross hatching, and you have like little more shadows of shapes of cobalt. So you know
Yeah,
there's
like
more coming.
they're getting rushed. Like whatever that
Yep.
position they have, they got caught off
Right? You're
guard.
like,
And
man,
that's why the wizard's like trying to web these, and these guys need to punch
right?
a hole, and it's time for them to get the
You got
hell
your
out of there.
Thessalonian paladin.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like he's got a shield of an ant. And I was like, wow,
Yeah. What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's like he's got Spartan looking, and
He's what is he, a praying mantis?
I,
What?
I don't know what that is, but whatever, man. To each his own.
Yeah,
But
but that's a cool. That was cool artwork back
yeah,
in
I
the day,
love this
man.
artwork. I've always loved this artwork.
Yep.
All right, so the Lamia, or is it Llama? Not Llama, but Llama.
Lamia. Lamia.
Lamia and Lamasu. Lam
Lamasu.
Lamasu. There we go.
Lamasu.
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 Lamasu sounds like a company that cures sexual diseases or something. They come up with the cures. This is
How
brought
dare
to you
you
by
say that about
Lamasu.
Babylonian mythology?
I'm sorry, but I think that's like a company, a pharmaceutical
An
company name,
ED's pharmaceutical company.
I guess. And then we have the Lamprey and Larva. Do you care? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We're not
Freaking
gonna really
worms.
talk about those creatures. This is their
Yeah.
time to shine in the description.
This is the one and only time they'll get mentioned.
Yep. All right,
All
so
right.
let's start off.
All right. Starting off with Lamia. Lamia. Lamia prefer to live in deserts, in ruined cities, caves, or the like. Their upper torso, arms, and head resemble a human female, while their lower body is that of a beast. Lamia are very fast and powerful. They usually are armed with daggers. Lamia is able to use the following spells once per day: Charm Person, Mirror Image, Suggestion, and Illusion as the wand. These spells are typically used to lure persons to Lamia and then hold them there for the creature to devour. Wow. So they just like cast a spell, freeze them, and then they eat them alive.
Yep.
Man.
Pretty brutal.
Lamia's touch permanently drains 1 point of wisdom from a victim. Holy shit. And when wisdom drops below 3, they willingly do whatever the Lamia tells them to do. Make sure wisdom isn't your dump stat, folks. Lamias first drain their prey of blood and then feast upon the flesh. They speak their alignment language and the common tongue. Interesting. So they have no special language.
No, like
All right.
I want to say the Temple of Elemental Evil is the
Yes.
first time that I see a description of them used in the game, and
Hmm.
it's a pretty deadly encounter that can catch a lot
Yeah.
of players off guard because you
Well,
don't see
that
her
module is
like
known
that.
for just slapping shit together. You're getting monsters in there. They're just in there to beat people. Like
Yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason to it.
yeah, and this is one of them because she, the
Yep.
way they set up that encounter.
And
Uh,
they're a 9-hit die creature, dude.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they as a DM, these are not creatures that you would use to go out and fight player characters. These are creatures that are very subtle. They create illusions.
They have
They
minions.
charm person. They try to pick characters off one at a time if they can get away with it. And
Yeah.
also, too, if they think the party is more than capable of killing them, they'll just leave them alone and stay in their
Right.
illusion like nobody's here.
Unforced.
Yeah, they're not.
I
Don't.
can see Lamia having a war band of some humans doing their bidding.
Yeah, like don't play them like just some creature that
Yeah, they're
that
highly
they have to
intelligent.
kill. Yeah, I was looking at their intelligence. They're high
Yeah.
intelligence. Like I'm out of here if I have to. All right.
Hmm.
So next, the Lamasu.
Oh, I love Lamasus. Lamasu dwell in warm regions, but they occasionally visit every clime. It is the nature of these creatures to aid and protect lawful good persons, and they are of generally kind and friendly disposition to all good creatures. Lamasu is able to become invisible and or dimension door at will. They
Whoa.
radiate a protect. What?
Said, whoa. Dimension
Yeah,
door
yeah,
at will.
at will. They'd be like, "Fuck off, I'm out."
Yep.
You just step through a door or blink out of visibility at will. At will is pretty powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. So they radiate protection from evil in a 10-foot radius, which has double strength. So -2 on attacks, +2 on saving throws against evil persons or entities. Additionally, they are able to use clerical spells up to 4th level. Interesting. They have cure wound spells for double effect. 10% of the creatures can speak holy word as well. Man, Lamasu communicate in their own tongue, the language of lawful good, and through a limited form of telepathy.
Yeah,
I like
so
it.
so see
That's not a
this
bad little
I could
creature.
see this being a Paladin's Mount at level 10 and
Um,
beyond, that the
yeah,
deities,
maybe,
you could
yeah,
befriend this and be like,
maybe at 20th level.
oh, I don't know. I think around 10 would be cool because
No,
I think this one is more appropriate.
you
Look at the
think?
number of appearing, 2 to 8. Not like the
Yeah, I
Chiron.
guess so. They're rare. Okay, I'll give it that.
I'm trying to defend my actions. I'm not that big of a dick. I should have had
Oh,
this. But
right?
no, these are cool creatures to use.
Yeah, I like them.
They're more of a, you use these to aid your adventurers in an encounter that you
Hmm.
build up to be really tough, and then they can, on their way there, that maybe they do a good deed that they don't have to do, and the Lamasu takes notice, and
Yeah.
it's like, I will help you for a
Yeah.
day.
Interesting enough, they don't give a description for this guy.
That is weird, and well, that's because didn't she say that they were some kind of mythology?
They're Babylonian mythology, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lamia is the same way because they're mythological as well. So they didn't give descriptions for either one of those.
Maybe they
So I
didn't want
guess
to
that's
bump
why,
into some kind of copyright issue at the time.
right? They'd be like, man, don't be copying our stuff.
I don't, but then again, they're so ancient, there wouldn't be no copyright issue. They could use the name.
Yeah.
That is
Just have
weird that
mad
they don't
people.
really give that type of more of a background into their history.
Hmm.
Now, these are
Yeah, you would
cool.
think they would.
Like Lamia, that has survived. I don't know if the Lamasu is in 5th edition.
Um, you know what? I'd have to check.
Well, I'm gonna grab my 5e book while you're reading the Lamprey.
Oh yeah, we can't leave out the lamprey and the larvae. Who's gonna deal with these worms? Okay, so for lamprey, we got two simple, normal and giant. Lampreys are leech-like eels which inhabit both freshwater and saltwater. They do not inhabit shallow bodies of water. They feed by biting their victims, fastening themselves to the hapless creatures with sphincter-like mouths ringed with cruel teeth.
What was that
That's an
again?
image. That's an image. Fastening themselves to hapless creatures with sphincter-like mouths ringed with cruel teeth. Yeah, we're gonna just skip the rest of that. Moving on to larvae.
Hey, we gotta
That's all
read
you need to
that.
know
You
about
gotta read that.
lamprey.
You gotta read that. Once
Man,
detached, go ahead.
and once attached, the lamprey will begin to drain the blood through that sphincter-like mouth on the next and each successive melee round. The rate of blood drain is equivalent to 2 hit points of damage per hit die the lamprey has. Man, so if you got a 5 hit die giant lamprey latched onto you,
Yeah.
it's going to suck out 10 hit points per round through that little sphincter. That's a giant Yep, that's exactly what it says. Giant
Yep.
specimen will drain, causing 10 points of damage per melee round.
Yep.
Blech.
And to answer your question about the Lamasu, yeah, they're gone.
I
Unless
think
they got upgraded to the Sphinx, which I'll look up while
no.
we're listening to what are larvae.
Ooh, oh, larvae. So here's a cool little picture. So they have these pictures of worms, but if you look, all the worms have little faces.
Yep.
The larvae are the most selfishly evil of all souls who sink to the lower planes after death. Ah, so these aren't your typical larvae. They abide in the gloom of Hades, controlled by night hags. Really? These creatures are desired by demons and devils alike, as they are used to form quasits or imps. Interesting. Liches employ their essence in order to retain their undead status and powers. Whoa! Because of the value of larvae to the night hags, they use them to trade off and thus maintain freedom of their planes. Larvae appear as sickly yellow worms with distorted faces. You know, we were making fun of the larvae right now.
We were.
They are pretty important,
Yeah, the
like
currency and all kinds of stuff.
monster. Yeah, they're used to make quasits and imps. The night hags like them. That's their
But how are
not
they
your
made
typical
though?
little
Do they?
huh?
How are they made?
They're the most selfishly evil of all souls who sink to the lower planes after death.
Oh
So if
wow,
you're yeah,
that's
yeah, that's
right. So
crazy.
when you die and you're evil, you go and
Mm-hmm.
you become this, and then this determines what you can evolve into.
Yeah, quasits and imps, the demons use them to make. Wow, and liches employ their life essence to retain their undead status and power. That's great. That they are a lot more important than we originally thought.
I guess I do care. I guess I answered my question. Yes,
Right?
I care about the
Not shit about the
larvae
larva.
and the lamprey. Well, I don't feel like getting a venereal disease. Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah,
You'll
let's
get
move
one.
on.
All right, going on to the giant leech.
Yep.
Good mind
Oops.
leprechauns.
Oops. I jumped over. Wait a minute. You read
Oh,
about?
you're
Okay.
good.
Yeah. No. No. I'm right. I'm right. All right. Right. Yeah. So leprechauns. Where's my lucky charms?
Where's
Then we're
my
gonna be
lucky
talking
charm?
about the giant leech, the leopard, and Lacrata,
Rod,
Lakota,
I like that.
Lacrata.
They're creepy monsters, dude.
Yeah, like no one really cares about the giant leech or leopard, but we will take a moment to talk about the leprechaun and the coat. All
Yeah,
right,
giant
giant
leeches are
leech.
just that. They suck blood. Leopards are your typical animal.
Now, gotta read the
Leprechaun,
description. Gotta read the
what was
description.
that?
You gotta read the description of the giant leech.
Oh,
Yep,
the description.
yep, you got to. This is
Okay.
their only due. Same thing with the
I
leopard.
only do. All right, you're sucking up time, leech. Sucking up more than blood. Found only in the fetid waters of swamps and marshes, giant leeches are a threat to any warm-blooded creature which passes within their movement range of 3. These horrors wait in the mud and slime for prey. As it passes, they strike. Giant leeches range from 1 to 4 hit dice in size. Various sized creatures usually are found in the same group. The initial attack also attaches a sucker mouth of the giant leech, and on the next melee round and on each round thereafter, it will drain blood the equivalent of 1 hit point per hit die it possesses. There's a 1% chance that the victim will be aware of the attack unless it comes out of the water, for the leech has the anesthetizing saliva, and its bite and blood drains are not usually felt until weakness. Ooh, you lose 50% of your hit points. Okay, that's a lot, man. 50% of your hit points. So say you're a guy with like 50 hit points. You have a 1 hit die leech on you. 50% is 25. So 25 rounds this leech has to be sucking blood for you
Not to
before you
notice.
realize it if you don't see them.
Well, that's if they're the small ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, giant leeches will come out of the water at night to attack prey. They go on the hunt.
Yeah, you could be
They can be
sleeping, and if they don't do, they're not going to do that much damage to you. Or you can
Yeah,
you
overnight.
could
Yeah, true.
if I was a DM, I'd just be like, roll a perception check while you're sleeping. Why? Don't worry about it. I mean, don't
Yeah,
worry
you
about it.
got to
Just roll,
stat.
roll like a
I
5
would
or
roll
under.
for them. I wouldn't even tell them. I would roll for them.
Nah, I'd let them roll. Yeah, no, yeah, I guess. No, because
I
then
do a
they'll
lot of
get
shit in
pissed.
secret now,
No,
man.
these
It adds
players
to the
of
mystery.
these players of today would lose their shit, dude.
I don't care.
It's
Lose it.
Eric.
Lose it.
I'm with you. All right.
All right. They can be killed by attack or with quantities of salt sprinkled on their bodies. The
Who
salt bay
carries
on the
that,
giant
man?
leech there. Get some salt bay on it.
I would grab
There's
the
a-
player character sheet and be like, I want to see exactly where salt is written, and not you
yeah,
writing it in right now.
it's in my cooking gear. In my cooking gear, my mess kit.
My
There's a
tinder
50%.
box.
Yeah, it's in my tinder box. I create fire with salt. There's a 50% chance that the bite of one of these creatures will cause disease and fatal in 2 to 5 weeks. What?
Yeah, man. First edition. That's what
That's
I
a way
loved
to
about
mess with
first
your players.
edition. It was so brutal, man. So
Yeah,
brutal.
they didn't care. Oh, a leech, yeah, he might kill you. Oh my good, 50% chance. That's a lot, dude.
That is.
Man, all right, get things moving. Leopard. These carnivores live in tropical woodland and jungles. They hunt by laying in wait and leaping upon their prey, surprising on a 1 through 3. Leopards can spring 20 feet upwards or ahead 25 feet. If they score hits with both forepaws during a melee attack, the leopard gains 2 additional attacks that round, each with 1 to 4 hit points of damage. Found in their lair, there's a 25% chance there'll be D3 cubs there. These young will have no effective attack. The leprechaun, little Darby O'Gill and the little people. Leprechauns normally dwell only in fair green lands with lush hills and dales for them to frolic through. Occasionally, a party of adventurous ones will reside elsewhere for a time. These small creatures of magical talent and mischievous nature can become invisible at will, polymorph non living objects, create illusions, and use ventriloquism spells as often as they like. Holy shit. Man, their keen ears prevent them from being surprised. Being full of mischiefs, they often snatch valuable items from persons, turn invisible, and dash away. Little thieves. The object stolen will be valuable, and there's a 75% chance of the theft being successful. If pursued closely, there's a 25% chance per turn that the leprechaun will drop the stolen goods. Man, a bunch of thieves.
Yep.
If caught or discovered in its lair, the leprechaun will attempt to mislead its captor into believing he is giving over his treasure while he is actually duping the captor. It will require great care to actually obtain the leprechaun's treasure. Note, leprechauns have a great fondness for wine, and this weakness may be used to outwit them. Rumor has it leprechauns are a species of halfling with a strong strain of pixie. Ooh, I know my next character.
No, you're not a leprechaun, but
Man, son of a bitch. All right, fine. On to the Lacrota.
wait.
These things are gnarly looking, dude.
I want to give the leprechauns time. So, again, back to the Temple of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
When they not in the I'm not sure if it was so much in T1, the Village of Hamlet, but I know when they
Mm-hmm.
brought the whole module together, the Elemental of Evil, and they recommended that first level characters start off. And
Mm-hmm.
in hindsight, I look back on that. I wish I would have done that with my group. Um, but if you have higher than first level characters, like second or third, they say use leprechauns to steal their magical items, the
Yep.
treasure. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to start because Hamlet, you go into Hamlet dirt poor, remember?
You're supposed
So,
to.
and as an aside, I know we're going to get into this later on down the road. By then, people probably forgot about this. But they give away treasure in that game like it's fucking candy, man.
Yeah, once you get into the moat house and stuff.
When you get to the moat house, you're like, dude, I retire. That's the temple. I'm gonna go retire.
Yeah,
I need a small fiefdom in Furiundi.
the leprechauns are interesting. They're nice. They're like the pixies have really taken their role as far as like the trickster fae that most
Yeah,
player
yeah.
characters will run into. But every now and then I've used leprechauns in there, and of course I've always had my player characters always try to chase them down or try to get them to give up their treasure, and I'd
Yep,
be like,
man. I mean,
"Oh, you got me. Thank you for all this good wine. Here you go." And I had them polymorph some like cow patties into like treasure. And then later on, when they went to go pay for something, they go into their bag and it's full of poop.
man, I would be mad. Ooh, man,
Dude,
mad.
that's funny. That is
I'd be
funny.
mad. I would be freaking whatever character I had dash the leprechaun hunter.
Dude, I'm looking right now just as a side note. There is no leprechauns in 5e, at least in
Probably
the
not.
monster manual. There might
Yeah,
be something with the Fae, but that's a
yeah. They're
shame.
probably in the. I
Uh,
love the Fae, man.
yeah, the Fae are cool. All right, so we've given the leprechaun their due, and tomorrow I'll be buying some Lucky Charms cereal, as I know the rest of you will too. All right, so the
Oh,
Lacrota,
this thing's so creepy, man. Lacrota, Lacrota,
Lacrota.
Lacrota.
Yeah, it almost sounds like the Native American name.
Yeah,
There's an Indian tribe, Lakota.
yeah, Lakota. That's a Sioux. That's one of the Sioux tribes.
Yeah.
Lakota Sioux.
All right.
This weird creature haunts deserted and desolated places. For it is so ugly, most other creatures cannot bear the sight of it. Man. The
Then the
body of a Lacrota resembles that of a stag, its tail being rather lion like, and its legs end in cloven hooves. Its head is that of a huge badger, but instead of teeth, it has sharp, jagged, bony ridges. What?
I don't know. They
The mo-
go
this is
ahead.
weird. This monster is very sly and can imitate the voice of a man or woman. This will do its trick to prey, this will do this to trick its prey to approach within attack distance. While retreating, the Lacrota can kick backwards with both hooves, causing d6 hit points of damage with each of those hits. The monster speaks the language of its alignment as well as a common tongue, and these things are chaotic evil.
Yeah, they like to trick its prey to following it. And
Yeah. All right, on to one of my favorites.
the
What do we got?
Lich. Just hearing the name brings dread.
Oh, yeah.
Lions and lizards. Any suggestion?
Nah, a lion lizard.
Yeah, see, I'd like to do that. I
All
live. All right, so
right.
here we go. The Lich.
The Lich. A Lich exists because of its own desires and the use of powerful and arcane magics. The Lich passes from a state of humanity to a non human, non living existence through force of will. It retains its status by certain conjurations, enchantments, and a phylactery. A Lich is most often encountered within its hidden chambers, this lair typically being in some wilderness area or vast underground labyrinth, and in any case, both solidly constructed of stone and very what? And in any case, both solidly constructed of stone and very dark. Okay, that was weird. The power which, again, Monster Manual First Edition proofreading for the win. Through the power which changes this creature from human to lich, the armor class becomes the equivalent of +1 plate armor and +1 shield, equaling armor class 0. Similarly, hit dice are 8-sided, and the lich can be affected only by magical attack forms or by monsters with magical properties or 6 or more hit dice. Liches were formerly ultra powerful magic users and or magic user clerics of not less than 18th level of magic use. Their touch is so cold as to cause 1 to 10 points of damage and paralyze opponents who fail to make saving throws. The mere sight of a lich will cause any creature below 5th level to flee in panic from fear. No saving throw. No, you are below 5th level?
Goodbye.
Run.
Yeah.
Run, bitch. Yeah, like the Cataplepus. We won't bring that up again.
Oh, yes, we will. I love that creature now.
Man, if I run through a Cataplepus of Ravenloft, Joaquin, I'm gonna be mad. I'd be like, what the hell is this thing doing in here?
Yeah, Strahd be like, I'd like to introduce you to my new
This
pet.
is my new friend, Mr. Cataplepus. Senor Cataplepus.
And then because Strahd can't be killed, he grabs him, looks him in the face. He's like, no one loves you, but I do.
No one loves him. Give me kisses. All liches are able to use magic appropriate to the level they had attained prior to becoming non-human. Following spells or attack forms have no effect on liches. Ooh, let's see what we got. Charm, sleep, enfeeblement, polymorph, cold, electricity, insanity, or death spells or symbols. Jesus. A lich appears very much as does a wight or a mummy, being of skeletal form, eye sockets mere black holes with glowing points of light, and garments most often rotting, but most rich. That's what we got on the liches, man.
So
they didn't quite reach their heyday yet.
Yes, they set the groundwork. Think about it. They already had set up Vecna with the hand and the eye of Vecna. So they were already setting.
That came out afterwards, didn't it?
I want to say I want to say that the framework was already being set.
Might have been, but Vecna hadn't been introduced prior to the monster manual.
Was he? I thought.
No,
No. I thought we did some research,
Rise
and
of
it was in
Vecna
the
was in the
first box
80s.
set
Oh, mention, you know what?
when 'cause we were reading some stuff or doing some things. I remember we coming across
That
that
does sound right.
because they were like the first artifacts or something like that. Something.
Wanda Orcus was the first artifact, right?
Yeah, but then there was also I want to say there was also I don't know.
Oh,
Leave the
I think it was, what was it called? It was Eldritch something?
it might have been in there.
Yeah, I think that was like mid 70s. So yeah, you know what? It was.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
just set
because
up the
Vecna
ground.
period
Go ahead.
Vecna came out in Greyhawk,
Yeah,
and that was prior to any of this. So yeah, Vecna was definitely before this. That's right.
yeah, he wasn't as powerful as he becomes.
He may not have had stats or anything, but yeah, he was definitely his legend was definitely introduced
Yeah, it was
before
just
that.
something that they had created, and then the other one who comes out, within the following year or whatever, um, is a Sirac
Oh,
because you got Tomb. I mean, the Tomb of Horrors S1
yeah.
is part of the first group that comes
Hmm.
out for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons the first year. And so, this is their chance. And they introduced the Demi Lich before they even introduced the Lich in D&D as far as like printed publications of modules
Yeah.
go. No, that's not true.
Oh,
No, no, I'm
no,
thinking about
no,
it right
Lich
now
is right
because
here.
in the Descent into the Depths, D1 introduces the Lich. Yeah.
Okay.
So I stand corrected on that, my memory. But either way,
Yeah, we're old.
um, Liches have always played a minor role for for the undead, but they're just fascinating creatures. I mean, look what Vecna has become.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it,
Vecna's legendary, man.
it is. He is, and you would think that it would be a Sirac, basing it off the beginning, but Vecna's just too cool, and I think what gave Vecna
Vecna
the
has that
edge,
history.
yeah, it's the artifacts. It's the artifacts
Hmm.
that that you can use and be corrupted and do all this stuff that just gave him that extra edge, and they really didn't do much with the Sirac afterwards. Like
He
they,
kind of died out. Yeah,
yeah, he kind of died out. But Vecna, they've always held on to, and
yeah. They totally went with Vecna.
yeah, no, it's just some cool. Like liches are a good way for young DMs to introduce a ongoing villain that your player characters are going to have to deal with their campaign.
Yeah.
They could start hearing the legends about whatever lich you have while they're first through third. They could find things, whatever, and you can, bring it up to where they fight a lich as the final
Hmm.
campaign. I mean, liches are cool that way.
Yeah, definitely good end game bosses.
Speaking of end game bosses, let's talk about the
Yeah, don't want to
lion.
mess around with the lion. You got three different types of lion, the mountain lion, and the spotted lion. Lions generally inhabit warmer climes, warm temperature to tropical. They will thrive in any region, from desert to jungle, swamp to savanna. Lions hunt in packs, called prides. Males seldom do any actual stalking or killing of prey. The lioness is the real huntress. All of these creatures can spring up to 30 feet. Males, however, are more ferocious fighters and will actively defend their group territory. Male lions have an armor class 5 forequarters and 6 in the hindquarters. I guess that mane gives them an extra 1 AC.
Yes.
Lions do not climb trees well and they dislike swimming. If a lion scores 2 paw hits during melee, it gains the advantage of raking with its 2 rear claws that turn, each rake causing 2 to 7 points of damage. Mountain lions are not actually a true lion, but a species of great cat. Well, then why are they here, sneaky git? They inhabit forests and deserts as well as mountains. Well, then why aren't they called the forest lion or the desert lion?
Because
They are
they're called
somewhat
mountain lions.
cautious, right? They're fierce, ferocious fighters if threatened or cornered. They can spring forward 15 feet or ahead at least 20 feet to attack. spotted lions, known as cave lions. Spotted lions are larger, spotted specimens. I guess that's where they get the name. They roam the plains of the Pleistocene epoch, with with but few being found elsewhere. Their hunting traits and group closely remember their smaller, more modern king. So your spotted lion is basically
Prehistoric.
your prehistoric, you know, not quite the Smilodon, but the other one.
Yeah, because the
All right,
Smilodon, the
moving on
tiger.
from the lion to the lizard. Here, lizard. We have fire lizard, giant lizard, minotaur lizard. Never heard of that before in my life. And subterranean lizard. Let's see what they got to say. These fire lizards are ancestral dragon type or an offshoot of a common ancestor. In any case, these creatures resemble red dragons, are
Oh,
sometimes called false dragons, and the latter seem to avoid confrontation with fire lizards. Really? So dragons avoid confrontation with fire lizards.
what?
Interesting. Yeah. Fire lizards are like, F you, red dragons, you're my bitch. They are
That is
slow.
weird wording that they would put down.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to read it the second time. I'm like, yep, that's what it says. They are
And
slow moving creatures and often sleep for long periods. They are found in subterranean lairs, coming forth every fortnight or so to hunt. So they only come out every couple weeks. As shiny things attract them, fire lizards collect metal and gems in their den. There's a 10% chance that their leg will contain 1 to 4 eggs. They're worth 5,000 gold pieces on the evil black market. The fire lizard does not otherwise care for its young, which depart after hatching. So they're like, whatever,
like, get out.
take my eggs. I don't give a crap. Wow. While the fire lizard usually attacks with a combination of 2 raking claws and a bite, it can also breathe forth a puff of flame from its mouth, truncated cone, which causes 2 to 12 hit points of damage. Half that if saving throw is made. Fire-based attacks do not harm fire lizard. Fire lizards are typically a neutral gray in color with mottling of red, brown on the back and reddish on the underside. Younger ones are lighter. Old ones, specimens, are darker. They grow to 50 to 100 years old.
Dang.
That's weird. They made them little mini red dragons that the red dragons are scared of for some reason.
Yeah, like
The
why? Because
giant
just
lizard,
because they can't breathe fire on them, like just claw them and kill them.
right? Stomp on them, squish them. Oh, interesting. We found a weakness for the red dragon.
Yes. I have my fire lizard shield.
Right? Yeah, I have my fire lizard mount. The giant lizard is remarkable only for its size. They dwell in marshes and swamps by preference. Because of their large maws, they are able to engulf prey. Any natural hit score of a 20 indicates a creature has been snapped between the jaws, causing double damage. Well, that's what a crit is. Oh, they did. Oh, here we go. The Minotaur lizard. Let's see what this guy says. These huge reptiles are very aggressive carnivores, usually inhabiting only warm regions. While moving slowly, they hide and quickly snatch at prey, surprising on the 1 to 4. They have long, sharp talons and teeth which inflict terrible wounds. Subdued prey is dragged into the lizard's den to be devoured at leisure. Wow. Because of the mouth size on these creatures, a roll of 20 indicating the Minotaur lizard attack has picked up any creature of man size and weight or less, has its fast in its mouth where it will be helpless to attack in the next round, where the lizard is certain to be able to bite the creature again. No reason why these things are called Minotaur lizards. Zero reason. Weird. Subterranean lizards are a variety of giant lizard which is found only underground. All right. Subterranean lizards is mostly aggressive and dreaded, for it is able to run along ceilings or walls as floors because of its suction cup toes. What?
Yeah,
So
like regular
still,
lizards. They can like climb up on walls and stuff.
yeah, but I guess these things have suction cups on their feet. Worse still, its horrible teeth inflict great wounds, and it can cause double damage on hits where it clamps both jaws firmly on its victim. So basically another 20. These guys benefit greatly from 20s, apparently. As with most other lizards, it typically drags its prey to its lair before devouring it.
There you go.
All right.
All
What do we got
right.
next?
Lizardmen. The Coda and Lurker above. Lizardmen have slowly evolved from villains to player characters, and the
Locathon.
Locathon sea creatures.
Locantha.
Locanthon. I feel like saying Tatanka. The
Tatanka.
Locanthon.
Sumani Tatanka. Obachi.
Sea creatures. You don't hear about them because I just looked them up. They're not
Yeah.
a 5th edition.
They're player characters now.
Yeah. So, and then the Lurker above, a fun monster to use on a first level party. As you can see
Yep,
by its picture.
I use them on my first level.
Oh, yeah, let's read about the mighty
Nice
lizardmen.
Lizardmen are semi-aquatic, breathing air, but often dwelling totally underwater and having caves which are not water-filled in which they lair. That was a long-ass sentence.
Yep.
All right. They are typically found in swamps, marshes, and similar places. They band together in rough tribal form. They are omnivorous, but lizardmen are likely to prefer human flesh to other foods. In this regard, they have been known to ambush humans, gather up the corpses and survivors as captives, and take the lot back to their lair for a rude and horrid feast. What the fuck?
Yep.
Oh my god. For a rude and horrid feast. Man, about 1 tribe in 10 has evolved to a higher state. Oh. These lizardmen will dwell in crude huts, use shields, and hurl barbed darts or javelins for closing with enemies. In combat, these advanced lizard men employ clubs and they speak their own language. Apparently, this picture here with the sword and shield lizardman doesn't exist.
Well, see, that's the thing. So Eric was talking about what other breakdown videos, because currently we have the dragons and
we had the dragons, we had giants.
We had the giants were the giants and the dragons. We gave their own video. We still kept to the premise, but then the dragons, because Eric wanted to talk more about them. We have done the metallic dragons, and we have a backup video, the chromatic dragons, and then we're gonna finish off the series.
Releasing soon.
Yes, it is. Eric's going to be gone for 2 weeks, so we're trying to figure out our schedule. So this will be this Friday, and then if we can't get together next week, then we're going to have the chromatic dragons. But if not, if it doesn't get dropped next week, it definitely will be dropped the following week, maybe on the weekend, something. And then the final video of that 3-part dragon series is Tiamat and Bahamid. And so, and the reason why I bring this up, because Eric was talking about how, there are any other videos that we're going to be doing. And I told him, no, not when it came to first edition. Once we get to the Fiend of Folio, we'll, maybe we can start talking about a separate undead video. But the Lizardmen are an interesting group to really talk about because they have really evolved. Yeah. They are no longer just these creatures that you just go out and hunt. And they even gave hints to it at the very beginning. They put them as neutral for a reason. Your first big encounter with them is probably for most old school players is keep on the borderland. Oh. There is a Lizardman mound, and the people are kind of threatened by it. The fishermen are, but they kind of hint that they keep to themselves, but as long as you don't go near their lair, then they really don't come out to hunt you unless you start going into close to the swamp. Then they might, take a shot at you. But Lizardmen are cool characters to play now, and now that we're in fifth edition, going on 6, all you 1D&D fans, 6th edition. It used. They're player characters, and they've always had 2 versions of them. They've tried to play them off as these low-level tribe people that don't have the technology of the shield that you see and the sword to a point to where they have some of them evolving where they do build huts and have limited, like you would treat them like Native Americans, where they're not metalsmiths, but they know how to make weapons and leather and other things. So
Yeah.
you know,
Tribals.
yeah,
Tribal people.
um, their their intelligence is no average, whatever the hell that means. But I don't know. I've always treated the Lizardmen kind of like well, I'm not saying they're like as low intelligence as the giant, but I've always treated them smarter.
Yeah.
So I've never treated the Lizardmen as some primal like beast because I just thought that they were better than that.
Yeah.
That's just me. Probably some DM will leave a comment. It's stupid, Joaquin.
You,
Tear it to
yeah,
me.
you don't want a Chiron being a mount, but you got smart lizard man. You're stupid. Oh
Oh,
my goodness,
that would be funny if somebody does remark on any of these
that'd be
comments.
hilarious.
All right,
All right,
so next up,
the Lokatha.
Okata.
The Lokatha are a humanoid race of aquatic nomads. They roam shallow sea waters, hunting and gathering food from bountiful warm waters. For every 40 Lokatha they encounter, there will be a leader. They go on to how many assistants they have, what type of they use lances, really, because they're always mounted upon giant eels as their steeds. So
Nice.
they have lances, crossbows, tridents, nets, and daggers. Interesting. The lair of these aquatic nomads is typically some castle like undersea rock, which the Lokatha have hollowed out into rooms, passages, etc. Would be guarded by stout doors and have the additional protection of moray eels. Ooh, it is 50% likely that there will be a Portuguese man of war trap as well. Lokatha are scaled in hues of pale yellow. Their ears are fanned with fins to increase hearing, and how do they? I guess they need to hear underwater. And their eyes are large in order to see better in their watery domain. Their back scales and fins are darker than those in the front. Interesting. Okay. Going to the lurker above.
Wait, real
The
quick.
lurker above is a carnivorous creature found only in subterranean places.
Wait, hold
If
up.
the game,
So, real quick. So, I know why I called them Lokathan because I misspelled it again.
no worries. I saw that and I was like, oh,
He should have
like,
called it out.
Joaquin got bitten by the Monster Manual proofreading bug.
I know, man. All right. So,
It's
the other thing
contagious.
is, real quick, I did want to talk about the Lokatha. Um, these were creatures that occasionally saw some play in early publication,
Mm-hmm.
and then they really got taken over by the sea
Kuatoa.
elves, the
The
Triton.
Kuatoa, when the Fiend Folio came out, the Kuatoa came out.
Yeah, no,
And the
no, no, no. I'm
Kuatoa,
talking like just yeah. What? Well, besides the Kuatoa, I'm talking about like other like neutral type creatures. Like the sea elves came out, and then
Titans.
yeah, there were just other things that just people gravitated more towards them. They just kind of got lost in the shuffle, and
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much have stayed that way. I don't even recall them being mentioned as a player character in 5e.
That's because it's still in development. It's one of those optional ones, kind of like
Oh,
Mousekin and the Mouse Folk and the Grugni, which are the poison frog people.
yeah, those are like these are things that you would play, and it's rare, and I do mean it's rare that you will have a underwater sea campaign. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I think I've only done maybe 2 in my life,
Salt,
maybe
Ghost of
3.
Salt Marsh.
No, 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 no. I'm talking like underwater campaign.
Yeah.
You know,
Some of those adventures in there are underwater.
yeah, but I'm just talking about you just keep your whole campaign underwater.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of a shame, even though I've done it a few times. Yeah, it's just one of the things where, like, even your player characters are like, nah, why?
Yeah, you would have to make specific characters for that kind of adventure. I mean, people make regular characters and be like, okay, you're going to be underwater the entire time. But
Yeah,
I'd be like, man,
no, they're like, I'm busy that night. I can't
right?
play. All
My
right,
character
now
died.
going. I don't want to take nothing away from the lurker above, so go ahead, lurker
All
above.
right. The lurker above is a carnivorous creature found only in subterranean places. If the chamber or cave is large, there might be as many as four of them, but normally only one is encountered. A lurker can creep along surfaces, but slowly, only by using gas which it generates and excretes into sacs about its bodies. Lovely. This gives the lurker above a neutral buoyancy, and then it flaps its wing like appendages and flies about. They surprise prey on a 1 through 4 on a six-sided die. When disturbed, the lurker drops from the ceiling, smothering all creatures beneath the tough folds of its wings, in quotation marks.
20
This
feet.
constriction causes, yeah, this constriction causes D6 points of damage per round. The victim will smother in 2 to 5 rounds in any event unless they kill the lurker and thus break free. Unintelligent, the lurker will fight until dead. Prey caught in its grip cannot fight unless the weapons used are both short and in hand at the time the creature falls upon them. These terrible beasts somewhat resemble a large manta ray. Its grayish belly is so textured as to appear to be stone, and the lurker typically attaches itself to a ceiling where it is almost impossible to detect unless actually prodded. So they have a 90% chance of being undetectable.
Nice.
Great, great monster.
Yeah, they really are. I use these with like they renamed them, but they were
They're
the
called, I think, just lurkers now.
no, I
Or
think they
dark mantle. No, dark mantle's one of them.
yeah, Dark Mancer, but they used to call them.
Lurker, I think it's a lurker.
But I think we are gonna get to them because they're in the P. They refer to as the piercers. And
Yeah.
I used to like as a DM like have my first level characters be attacked by the lurker above and piercers. Good
Yep.
times, people. Good
Right.
times. But yeah, these are creatures that are just used, and um, kobolds and other intelligent creatures will take advantage of these type of rooms to bait your
Use them for
player
traps.
characters.
Yep.
Yeah, and as you can see in the bottom, they have some nice little lizardmen art. They're trying to club that soldier.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh, here we
the
go.
lycanthrope. So Eric wanted to do a separate video on this, but I told him it really wasn't necessary because there wasn't that much about these as far as
No.
like game rules. There was plenty of history on lycanthropes, because the first
Hmm.
lycanthropes that are about were most likely werewolves and then maybe werebats. I mean werebears and were rats. But the werewolf is the most, popular lycanthrope there is.
Hmm.
So here's a little fun fact. Lycanthropes were shape changers with at least two forms, that of a humanoid and that of a particular animal. In humanoid form, they appear no different than a typical species of that type, and their natural life expectancy was the same. Okay? Lycanthropes could disguise themselves somewhat through their shape shifting abilities, taking the form almost identical to a humanoid, but with subtle details revealing their true nature, such as pointy teeth or long. All right, here we go. Eric,
All right. The
lycanthropes.
lycanthrope. Here we have 5 different types of lycanthropes. We have the werebear, the wereboar, the were-rat, the were-tiger, and the werewolf. Lycanthropes are humans with the ability to assume animal form. During the hours of darkness, they most commonly shape change to their animal form. In periods of a full moon, lycanthropes are 90% likely to be compelled to assume to their alter shape. They usually move about as humans for whatever purposes they may have. Each type has its own language, which is spoken in addition to common. Any humanoid creature bitten by a lycanthrope for damage equal to or greater than 50% of its total potential, but not actually killed and eaten, is infected by the disease of lycanthropy. If the person is carrying belladonna, oh, oh yeah,
That's the
forgot
herb.
about belladonna. It's not just a Stevie Nicks album. There's a 25% chance that this will cure the affliction if eaten within an hour. Note that this
25%.
25% chance you gotta eat some belladonna, and maybe you will not be cursed with lycanthropy.
I would ask to roll a d4 than a percentage 100%
Yeah,
die.
true. Note that this infusion will incapacitate the person for 1 to 4 days, and there's a 1% chance the poison in it killing the creature, because belladonna is poisonous. Otherwise, a cure disease spell from a 12th level or higher patriarch must be placed upon the creature within 3 days, or it will become a lycanthrope in 7 to 14 days. There are some other forms of lycanthropes, but these are very rare in the extreme. First up, we have the werebear. Great werebears are the most powerful of all lycanthropes. They're never found in other than full-grown state. Werebears alone are 50% likely to be in the company of 1 to 6 brown bears. They're able to summon 1 to 6 brown bears in 2 to 12 turns if any such creatures are within 1 mile of the werebear. Their human form is typically large, hirsute, and of solitary temperament. These creatures heal their wounds at 3 times the normal rate and are not subject to disease. They can cure disease in other creatures in 1 to 4 weeks if they so desire. So they could cure lycanthropy if they bite somebody. They'll be like, "Oh, sorry, my bad. Here you go," and cure you. To the wereboar. Found in dense woodlands and similar areas, wereboars are one of ugly temper and likely to attack. In their human shape, they are usually hot-tempered and irascible, typical berserker nature. Wereboars seldom mingle with normal boar kind. The were-rat, sometimes known as ratmen. Ooh, these sly and evil creatures inhabit subterranean tunnel complexes beneath cities. Were-rats are able to take 3 forms: human, human-sized ratmen, and giant rat. They're typically sword-armed. They use their human form to dupe humans, luring them to a place where they can be captured to be held for ransom or possibly eaten. Were-rats prefer to move about in rat-like shape, smaller than a man but much larger than a normal rat. They are capable of summoning and controlling giant rats, each were-rat doing so with 2 to 12 of the creatures. Ooh, like Skaven from the GW
Yep.
realm.
So before we move on to the second page,
Okay.
um, the wereboars are just were rarely encountered in
Yeah, you
D&D.
that I mean, look at your description is 2 sentences.
Yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, we also got wereboars. That's like
We're just
what?
gonna throw that in there.
Yeah, so the werebears are pretty popular in Greyhawk community of halflings. Befriended some because they were about to get overran by an orc army,
Uh,
and the halflings asked aid of this werebear community. And normally the werebear community keeps to itself, but in this instance came out and turned the tide of the battle.
they have
And yeah, they hate
no
the
love
orcs.
for the orc.
Yep. And so they have a little festival in which they thank all the werebears, and because they're bears, they always give them like little honey, cookies, and treats. Um,
And the bears eat the halflings.
no, the
Man,
werebears are good, and
I know, but like Bjorn, once they're in bear mode, remember Bjorn from the Hobbit?
yeah,
He's gonna eat them dwarves, man. He's like,
uh,
"What you doing in there eating all my milk and honey?"
pretty much. And then were rats are other ones that you all usually out of the three, you're gonna run into were rats.
Yeah, were rats are cool.
Besides werewolves, you're usually gonna run into were rats. These um these creatures have always been a part of D&D. I mean, they're nice mythology, and they make really interesting um characters. I mean, not
Yeah,
they make interesting backstories to not interesting back situations to inflict on the characters.
yeah.
Where
Interesting NPCs or some kind of community of were rats.
yeah,
They're a good opposition to the party.
yeah, because especially when it comes to like rare rats, usually you have like gangs of thieves or assassins who are rare rats because
Hmm.
it's easier for them to just get away.
Yep.
So moving on to the next. So the lycanthropes again. Similarly, lycanthropes could assume an animal form, which would be perfect disguise, except for the unusual spark of intelligence in their eyes that sometimes gave away. And the
Hmm.
other ones, some lycanthropes could take on an intermediate hybrid form, which they did not address until later.
Oh, the Ratmen. They said the Ratmen can do it. The
Yeah,
were
but they
rat.
don't. But I'm talking like they gave him like stats or showed
Oh, I see.
they really went into specific. And that was in later editions, but they kind of dropped hints of it in like first edition like readings of it. Superficially resembling the humanoid form, but with the head of the specific animal shape they could also take. So basically, they usually would. It just means that they look kind of human like. They would stand on the two legs and they had their
Mm,
hands, but they had the other like animal they wanted to.
like a
Uh,
minotaur.
yeah, yeah. That, I mean, they could have
Yep.
made a minotaur a
Right.
lycanthrope if it wasn't
Werewolf.
if it wasn't embedded in Greek mythology.
Right. They're
It,
like, oh, we could make a werewolf. Ah, shit, the minotaur.
yep. I mean, in the homebrew campaign that Eric was part of, I I had a werehawk, and it was
Yeah.
and he had an option of being the rarest where he could actually turn into a giant hawk, like the giant eagles, and he could like travel and let people ride him or grab on it or grab
I'm
people.
making my mount.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this person my mount.
Right. Hawk is gonna be my mount.
Yeah, which is a side note. That's what my niece does to me
That's
every
a heavy
weekend.
theme in this episode. The mount.
Yeah, my niece is like, "Horsey?" I was like, "No, Cora, I just got back from work." "Horsey?" I get out, and then she's like,
Joaquin is my
"Fast!"
mount.
Yeah, Uncle's my mount. Faster! And now she's like
I'm only
hitting me
level
on the. Now she's
zero.
like hitting me like a horse, like in the
Ah,
back. She's patting me in the back. She's like, "Go!" I was like, "What?"
get her, get her a stick.
I know. Better not. I'll draw the line. All right. Fun time
All right.
stories are over. All right. Where tiger?
You know we're approaching Dallas's limit, man.
Dallas. I can already feel her, man. We are lucky.
Right?
We are close to the very end. So
Right? Were tigers are quite similar to normal tigers in their habitat. They are most often female. It is only 5% likely that were tigers will mingle with the normal sort of cat. They have power to speak with all sorts of cats, however, and cats are 75% likely to be friendly with the were tiger because of this. That's that. Werewolf, the most popular form of lycanthrope. In their human form, werewolves are very difficult to detect, for they can be nearly of any build and of either sex. Werewolves are prone to retain bipedal form of their wolf state, but wool wearers, wolves which can become men, will always take the normal wolf form. Both sorts are likely to be found in a pack. Werewolves packs can be family groups if they number from 5 to 8. Family packs consist of a male, a female, and 3 to 6 young. The male will fight at +2 to hit and full damage each time he hits if a female is attacked. If the cubs are attacked, the female will attack at +3 to hit, 2 full damage each possible time she hits. Young will fight at -4, -1 to hit, according to maturity, and inflict 2 to 5 points of damage attack. This is the first and only time I have ever heard of werewolf familial packs.
yeah, it
That is weird. That is nonsense.
yep.
That's probably why they got rid of it.
Yeah, and so also before we give the giant links at the moment of the sunshine,
So
uh
this little comic at the bottom.
yeah, so special defense, all are hit only by silver or +1 or better magical weapons. And that
Correct.
is pretty much carried over with
That's standard from all folklore and
yeah.
mythology.
And so they have variants in alignment. And again, like the I mean the were tiger is similar to the were boar. It's like it is very rare that you're gonna bump into a were
Yeah.
tiger.
I've never heard of a were-tiger ever. Maybe in some kind of hidden Hindu Indian lore, but I've never heard of that.
All right, so here's the last creature.
All
So
right.
here we
Saving the
go.
best for last. Giant lynx. These forest cats prefer cold regions. They're aggressive and compete well with other predators because of their intelligence. If found in their lair, there's a 25% chance there will be D4 kittens there. Giant lynx climb very well, swim reasonably well, and they can leap 15 feet. If the lynx strikes with both forepaws, they will get additional raking attacks, 2 of them, with each rear claw causing D3 points of damage. Giant lynx speak their own language. They have also learned to hide themselves in order to avoid detection, with a 90% chance of success, or surprise prey. They're 75% accurate in detecting traps. And down here at the bottom, we have a little picture,
Yep.
little links. He's just hanging out.
The Monty
And
Python
his whole
moment.
party of adventures. Yeah, it looks like a Far Side comic.
Yep.
And apparently, this link doesn't see this group 2 feet away from its face. And here we have the fighter telling the wizard, "What do you mean we got to talk to this lynx? The last monster we talked ate half the party."
I thought that's funny.
Yeah,
That's so
apparently not this
true.
dumb lynx because he don't notice nothing.
Yep. Well, it's almost like the lynx is like you would treat it like it's just chilling, like it's determined that it doesn't feel threatened by the party.
Yeah, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah, kind of like just go on your way and I won't eat you. You know, I've
Yeah,
eaten enough.
step off, stupid humans.
I've eaten enough. I've eaten enough rabbits. I'm kind of full right now. All right, so
That's
Dallas, we
the
are
elves.
now to the wrap up.
The wrap up.
Next video, part 11, the letter M, which like
Oh,
this
and what
one
picture
will,
we got there, Joaquin?
yeah, um, this is gonna be another long video. Sorry, Dallas, but it is just like this one. There's a lot of creatures that we're gonna be going over to, and some of them we're kind of giving a moment to shine, like the Leprechaun and some other ones, because they just don't mention them anymore.
Oh yeah.
Um, so the start of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, there were no simple cures for lycanthropes. Think about it. You're a mid-level characters when you run into these lower to
Yep.
mid-level. It states you need a 12th level cleric or
Yep. You gotta
higher
hunt down a cure.
or a druid, but you need 12th level.
Yeah.
Your NPCs and most of those modules were not 12th level.
Oh,
And you only had a certain amount of time to do it, and the odds are you were way off in the wilderness tracking down whatever treasure
mm-hmm.
you were looking for.
Better double time it back to the city, son.
Yep.
Have lots of gold.
And so, how do you? I put in here. How should you a lich? And before you give your answer, Eric, there's a reason why I thought about this because I looked at D1 when they first introduced the lich, and they
Mm-hmm.
treated it just like some normal monster. It was just an
No.
encounter, and there was no
Nope.
rhyme or reason. That was one of the criticisms of D1, where it's like, why is the lich there with all these other creatures that could somewhat be considered its
Your
protector?
characters, your party should not even know the Lich exists until well into maybe the mid game portion of the campaign. The Lich should be backstory only for the DM. They should be running all the encounters and you know trespasses and travails of the party from behind the scenes. And it's only until later, as the characters start to advance in level, that they may come to realize that there is some sort of greater evil behind all this that's going on,
Yeah,
and that's where the Lich should be.
yeah. And this other thing is, you could have a wizard who is looking to become a lich, and the player characters find out or discover this evil wizard, and they have a
Hmm.
chance to kill him before he becomes a lich. Like they're,
Yeah, that
like
could be another one too.
he shouldn't like the lich was sometimes treated at the very. And this was only like the first year of D&D.
Well, I mean, look at how they treat the dragons. Look at how they treat Tiamat.
Yeah, it was just one of those
These are
things
just
where
silly monsters. As people
yeah,
can say, I killed a Lich. I killed Tiamat with 50 points of damage.
I know.
You know, that shit made me mad.
Oh, guys should see that video. I did a little I had to take a sound bite out of that video because it was too funny. Because Eric
Again,
lost it like I sometimes
lost my
do.
ever loving mind.
He's like, what? Like even I had forgotten about that, and I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
I read that and I was like, this stupid, stupid thing.
And meanwhile, they go to Bahamut, and Bahamut's like, I blow my breath and kill you.
Yeah, Bahamut's this high, mighty
Excuse me.
dragon king god, and Tiamat's like the roach of the chromatic dragons. Don't get me started, Joaquin.
I
I
know, I know, I know.
don't have time for that monster.
Yeah. I can already let me check the video, the time on the video.
We're
We're at an
well over an
hour and
hour.
like 20 minutes, so
Oh, it's our ass, Joaquin.
it is. I can hear it now from Dallas. Well, I won't
Right?
hear it. You will. All right,
I'm
so
gonna I'm
let's.
gonna call you. Like here, put you on speaker.
So here, put you on screen. So this is a running gag we have. Eric's wife. I didn't know that she actually played D&D, but she did the courtesy of watching our video, which I thought was nice of her.
Apparently, she watches all of them because I asked her. I'm like, "Do you watch all of them?" She goes, "Yeah." Yeah. So she must do it when I'm not around,
Yeah,
so she could probably make fun of us while I'm not home.
pretty much. Her and Minion.
Yeah, they sit there and have a good laugh.
Yeah, so Eric made the comment like, "Hey Joaquin, Dallas thinks we need to cut our videos down." And for those of you who have heard the story, you're gonna hear it again. And so I told it, I got really pompous. I'm like, "What does Dallas know about D&D?" Because I've met his wife. I've known her here and there throughout.
He
I don't
used
know,
to
the
work for her
10,
back in the day
15
too.
years. Yeah, and so she didn't strike me as a D&D person. Let me put it to you that way.
Mm,
I didn't think it was like an impossibility, but if you were just, from what I knew of her, I'd be like, "Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. All right." So she told Eric that our videos were too long, and I told her, I said, "I go, what the hell does she know? She doesn't play." And then Eric goes, "Actually, Joaquin did play D&D." And I was like, "What? Oh, well, we're gonna cut our video short."
we're
And
gonna keep him under an hour.
yeah, we're gonna keep them under an hour. And
Woo!
but what's funny, on that same video, there was a guy, because I mentioned, I go, "Well, our stories are really for the old school players. And some of the, if you're new to D&D, you can enjoy them too, but it's really the nostalgia for, people who have played like second edition and beyond. Even if you didn't
Yeah.
play first, you still know what we're talking about in the majority of this stuff." And the person commented on there, he's like, "Well, I enjoyed the stories." I'm like, "Well, thank you."
Yeah, as long as we try and keep it for the most part. This one's gonna run long. We have a couple of the big ones gonna run long. So
Yeah, the M is going to run long. There's too many
yeah,
creatures.
M and S.
Yeah, those are going to run long. There's too many interesting creatures in there. I mean, I
Yeah.
I just chose the face for this video, which was, you know, the giant mouse. We all know is one of the greatest creatures of all time, and I hope you guys never
Oh.
run into a giant mouse indeed.
Yep. Horrible.
Horrible. All right, so
Horrible.
cobalts. We gotta talk about cobalt. Sorry, Dallas. Gotta talk about
Hey,
cobalt
cobalts really quick.
really quick. Can be the deadliest encounters for low-level characters.
They are, especially if you
I
use like a full tribe of kobolds.
Oh, dude, I don't even need. I just need level one party of like 4 or 5 players and 7 cobalts to ruin your day. And I'm not even talking about before they even added like, the alchemist cobalt. Just using them
Yeah, all those
in
other kinds of
danger.
random kobolds.
Yeah, I would like have them herd animals through your campsite while you're trying to sleep.
They're
I
herd animals.
Yeah, or they would get a stick with a beehive and throw the beehive right in the middle of your rest. Another trick of theirs. They would randomly pick one character, and all 5 or 6 of them would shoot like at medium range, bow attacks, and then run off. It's like
You're just mean.
you could just really harass. And
Yeah.
I had a player one time just come down and be like, "Why are you doing this? These are just kobolds." I was like, "Kobolds are crafty little creatures.
Yep.
You better pray that you don't find their lair, because I have more nasty things encounters waiting for you there." Sorry about
That's
that.
why
Heard that.
I kill them with extreme prejudice.
They are.
Like
Any
when
quick?
like when we were in the cobalt caves in your campaign. I was like, we are not leaving until every single one of these things are dead. I don't care.
Yeah, they
Baby
got.
kobolds, female kobolds, they're all dead.
Yeah, they killed them all, dude. None survived except for like Glass Eye,
Exterminated.
because he was
And
like,
we took care of Glass Eye later, that
"Yeah,
fool.
you did. You killed him. You killed
Yes.
him with a
I killed
crit,
him outright.
and you did the damage on the nose." And I was like,
Yep.
and we're gonna end the story here, but He had 30
Took his
hit
glass eye.
points, and I should give Glass Eye maybe like 40 or 50. I go, no, he's a Cobalt. He is like a eighth level sorcerer, and I did make him pretty powerful. And then he had an ogre bodyguard, and he was up
Hmm.
on a cliff. People, he was up on a cliff, and they were fighting hill giants. And Eric pop shotted him with a crit shot and killed him.
Yep.
And then, um,
Cobalt Slayer.
yeah,
Eris.
I was just like, damn. Actually, you didn't even crit shot him. You just did enough damage on
No,
the
I did.
note.
Yeah, I just did the. I think it was the guiding bolt.
Yeah, you did. You did 30 on the dot. You didn't crit him.
Hmm.
And I realized right after you guys all celebrated that he didn't use his reaction for the turn, and he could
The
have
shield.
used shield,
Yep.
and you would have missed. And that's one of those things as a DM that you kind of pick your moments. And everybody was happy they had killed off this villain who had tormented them for a second, and so you let
Told
it
him I would
go.
kill him.
You let him go. You forgot. It's
Yep.
done. Can't go back and see the damage and be like, oh, by the way.
Oh wait, that didn't happen. That's the worst, dude.
Yep.
That's the worst as a DM. That you're right. You're just like, oh, you know what? The party already has that sense of achievement. You can't take that away from them.
Nope. And speaking of which you can't take away, hit the like button and become a subscriber. You can't take away the joy that Eric and I will feel when we see our numbers go up. And with that, people, I'm going to end the video. Sorry, Dallas. We went 26 minutes over. Final
Woo!
thoughts, Eric.
I'm looking forward to actually I'm looking forward to S's. Well, and M's too, because M does contain my most favorite monster in all of D&D. I'll
Oh,
leave that a
wait, don't
surprise for
say
the
it.
next
Don't. Yeah,
video.
don't say it. That people are going to have
Nope.
to watch the video to find out. All right, what's that,
All right,
people? Um,
you guys. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, with that, people, hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment below, especially if you thought I was a dick during this telling some stories, and give a shout out to Dallas. Just say, hey, Dallas, in the comment, I agree with you. We need to keep these
Yeah,
videos
these
under an
videos are
hour.
too damn long.
Yep. All right, people. Catch you later.
All right, guys, take it easy.